What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Skillcaps here. Today we're doing another operator how-to guide, and if you guys have been keeping up with the Rainbow Six Siege community, you know there are two new operators that dropped recently. One of them's name is Clash. She's a defender with a riot shield that can shock people much like a Twitch drone, but it does a little less damage and mainly just slows you. And the other one is Mavrick. Now Mavrick is going to be our focus today. He is an attacker. He has a blowtorch that operates much like a thermite charge and a Hibana charge, but it makes very small holes, so that way you can peek through and possibly even crawl through. And we're going to be going over that today, a little bit of his gun class first, and then we'll head into the private match and show you guys the meat and potatoes of running this guy. Alright, first off, we're going to start with his primary weapons. The first one you have accessible to you is the AR-1550, or AR Beowulf, as I like to call it. It shoots a 50 caliber Beowulf round, which is my preferred method of killing terrorists, is a 50 caliber round. It's not a 50 BMG, but it hits just as hard. This thing has 62 damage. It's semi-auto, so it is a DMR. 50 mobility with 10 in the clip. Those rounds take up a lot of room in that magazine. If you look over at the recoil pattern, it doesn't look terrible, and if you slap a foregrip on it like I have right now, it's even less than that. You pretty much just don't even have to move your aiming at all, and it's shot after shot, it's going to hit the exact same spot. The next gun we have accessible to Mavrick is the M4 assault rifle. This is the, as it says, this government issued assault rifle has been customized with additional features. 44 damage, 75, what am I saying? 750 rounds per minute, 50 mobility with 30 in the magazine. This thing is also a very solid choice. Much less stopping power. Looks like there's a lot more recoil, but again, this new recoil buff has not even quite a buff. This recoil patch is kind of have all the guns all over. You just have to get used to the recoil with your gun and you can control it, no doubt. And now over to his secondary weapon, we got the M1911 TAC Ops, standard gun that everybody loves, everybody knows. It's a classic around the world. Very great gun. 55 damage, 45 mobility, and 8 in the clip. Do not pay attention to the recoil pattern in the bottom right. All pistols in this game, except for the Deagle and the 45 Magnum that the French operators carry, have amazing recoil patterns. Don't worry about that. Now over to his two gadgets, you have stun grenades and claymores available to you. I personally like to run the claymores, and the reason I do that is because you can make yourself a little hole in the bottom of a reinforced wall, or even just a regular wall if you want. Put a claymore down so the lasers peek through that hole. Somebody runs past that hole, they're going to get attacked by this claymore. The stun grenades are also not a bad choice, but as we go over later in the good operator combos that we have, not really needed for the stun grenades if you have a well-coordinated team, but I will show you some use of them in the future. Now Mavrick's main gadget here is going to be his blowtorch that he carries around. It burns holes through wooden walls, wooden doors, castle doors, and reinforced walls. And the way this thing works is you have a fuel tank that overheats every once in a while, and you have a limited amount of time that you can use it before it runs out of fuel. And it quietly burns a hole in any structure that you can do. As far as I know, it doesn't do damage to people. I have tried it, and it didn't seem like it did anything. He might have been out of range, but I don't quite know. So the way I like to set up his classes has to go with this stealth approach and trying to keep quiet while you're actually burning these holes and creating lines of sight. So what I like to do is run suppressors on all of his guns. Now as you can see, even putting a suppressor on this AR-1550, the damage is still 52, which is one of the most damaging guns in the game, which I think is only behind the Glaz sniper rifle for suppressed weapons. Like if you were to slap a suppressor on there, the only gun that beats it. Now we hop on over to the M4. I also like to run the suppressor on that, but this kind of depends on what you like. The flash hider also helps a lot because shooting through a hole in the wall, the whole room is going to be filled with noise. You're not going to quite know where it's coming from. The flash hider will just keep it so they don't see where you're shooting from. But the suppressor is still my go-to choice here. Still 37 damage, which is great damage for a suppressed assault rifle in this game. And it just makes it super easy for you to burn a hole in a wall, burn a hole in a door, find people, acquire targets, and take them down really quickly. Now, I have been talking a lot about how to use Mavrick's gadget and about these weapons, but I haven't really showed you guys what it can actually do. So, we're going to hop into a private match with one of my friends. I'm going to show you the basics on how to use them and how I like to play them, so that way you can find your play style that fits him the best, because I know a lot of people right now want to play Mavrick, but they don't quite know how to best implement him into a team. And I think I've found a quote-unquote pretty good way to implement him onto a team. You just have to have good communication with your teammates, and if you're running him by yourself, you can pretty much just run him like an Ash style, because I believe he is a 3-speed. Yes, he is a 3-speed, 1 armor, so you can pretty much run him like a discount Ash. Alrighty, everybody, welcome to House. I am playing Mavrick, and I have my friend Sean here. Say hi, Sean.
Hello.
And we're going to go over some of the basic things with Mavrick. First off, we're going to run upstairs and show off a little bit of the recoil pattern for the M4 with the suppressor. Alright, first off, here is the M4 suppressed with a foregrip without ADS. As you can see, the spray is all over the place, but how many times are you actually going to be spraying at somebody like this in real situations? So now we're going to do ADS without any recoil compensation on my end. Nearly the same pattern, bullets obviously in a more precise line than all over the place. And now here's the recoil with me compensating. Pretty tight grouping there. I may have overcompensated a little bit, but that's not really the point, just showing you how controllable it actually is. Alrighty, I am back here with the AR-1550 to show you guys the recoil. Since it is semi-auto, I'm just going to spam a whole clip into a wall without ADSing. This is the suppressed version, so it might have a little bit more recoil. Here we go. As you can see, it didn't move at all. That was not me compensating at all. Now I will ADS right next to it. Even less, and still no compensation on my end. We're going to move to the left of it now, and I will compensate. Like I said earlier, pretty much just very little compensation, and it's not going to move. This thing's amazing for trying to get headshots through those small holes that you burn in the wall. Alrighty, now we are down here in the basement with a couple castles and a bulletproof cam setup just to show you the versatility of Mavrick's gadget. To start off, we're going to be trying to burn a hole in this castle just to show you guys that it can easily be done. Burn a hole straight through it and you can see castle on the other side. Pretty easy kill. Now, before we run out of time, I'm going to try testing it on this bulletproof cam. Destroys the bulletproof cam very quickly and also leaves a hole in the wooden wall.
Time limit reached.
Now I have Sean playing as Maestro just to see what kind of damage it'll do to some barbed wire and to his deployable cams. First, I'll start off with barbed wire. It does get rid of barbed wire, but it's not very practical. I used half of a whole tank just for one barbed wire. And now for the cam. And it instantly melts the cams, much like the bulletproof shields. I have my friend Sean. He set up a reinforced wall over here just to show you guys how to basically make a hole, how to peek it and things like that. The thing I like to do is I will go on a crouch level and put it in the corner of a wall and just give it one quick tap. That way you kind of have to peek through it very quickly. It's kind of hard for them to see and it's out of the way a little bit. Another thing you can do, I'm running out of time here, you can go into a corner and cut a square about yay big, and you will be able to crawl in prone through it once you get it completely cut out.
You're out of time.
Here, and I am on defense now, playing as Tachanka, and I have reinforced one wall just so my friend Sean, playing as Mavrick on the other side, can show you how quiet the holes are actually made in both reinforced and non-reinforced walls, and to see how effective a claymore laser will actually peek through the bottom if you make a hole in the bottom. So we're going to start by him making just a regular sized peek hole in the reinforced wall at regular height. As you can see, it was barely audible. I have a very high-tech headset and I could barely hear that. It just sounded like a drone being short-circuited or something like that, and he's already set up to kill people through this hole. Now if we go over to the unreinforced, see if it makes a different noise. About the same level of noise. The hole is a little less conspicuous, there's less sparks flying, things like that. And also, I mentioned that you could make a claymore hole to put down at the bottom of the floor, so that way the lasers will peek through, and we'll see that now. Just make a hole that's pretty long, that way the lasers can poke through, and then the lasers will go just like that. It's pretty easy to see the claymore down there, so only really do that if you're gonna put it in a corner where not a lot of people are going. You can also make the hole much smaller, so only like one laser will go through. A little less conspicuous, but just as effective. Alrighty, as you can see here, my friend Sean is on the other side of this mirror to do a little bit of scientific experiment, you could call it. We're going to see what the blowtorch will do to each mirror on both reinforced and unreinforced walls. And if we can't get any damage out of that, we're going to see how long it's going to take to actually cut out the mirror, see if it would be advantageous for you to even try. Alright, now Sean, just go ahead and start whenever you're ready. Okay, so it does take a very long time to cut around. Have you tried just going like straight in the middle of the mirror? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So cutting out the mirror does not seem practical on a reinforced wall. Make sure you save some fuel as well. Does not seem practical at all, because by that time I could have just popped it open and killed him. But let's go see if it does anything different on the unreinforced wall. Maybe it'll be easier to cut out, maybe not. It does not seem like it. Alright, so Mira, good counterplay against Mavrick because the Miras are immune to the blowtorch. Good things to know. Alrighty, now my friend is inside and we're going to do a couple tests. First we're going to see if his torch can disable a Chonka turret. It does not look like it can. Then next we're going to see what it does to a deployable shield.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It melts deployable shields instantly. That's nice to know. Next we're going to see if the blowtorch can actually damage people. So I'm going to have him come over to me right now and see what it does for damage. Just tap it at first and see how much it does. Alright, it did 2 damage in that little bit. So just hold it down and see how much damage you can do. Alright, so with a full fuel tank, he can actually get you down to 4 health from full. Alright guys, that is it for the basic stuff you need to know about Mavrick. The real fun you can have with him is being creative with your holes, being creative with how you enter. This blowtorch is a great way to quietly get in and out. It's very hard to hear, and you can use it on regular doors as well. I forgot to mention this. Use it just the same as if you were going to make a hole in a wall or in a castle door. It's just a wooden door. You go down in the corner, make a hole just big enough for you to get through, and it actually doesn't damage the door. It just makes holes in it without, you still need 3 melees to knock it down. So it's a great way to get in without anybody hearing you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this section of the video, and now we're going to go into some action shots so you guys can see how to use him in an actual game and how effective he can actually be. Thank you guys again for watching. Please like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye. Cabbies and billiards. Got her.
You can bet your life on it. He got the ice on it. We're still got the size on it. That walking stick, my day and pocket dice. Still feeling stuck every single night. Don't give a fuck if I live to die. Surprised at this point that I have survived. Pull up with the motherfucking AK top. This boy, good luck. Young play, got the play. Hit the slay, then we spray with the 445. Bitches great. 5-9, let the devil go rock. Ain't nothing but a pussy if you gon' throw shade. Fuck boy, I'm hungry and you looking like steak. Trigger finger itching, you looking like fake. Trash, I'm passing, you looking like waste.
I put a peephole on that side wall. And they have to watch
G-R-E-Y-F-I-V-E and I am the skeleton hiding the bones. I am the leper print. I lose so fun, uses for I can see. Enemies try and see me, but I'm right the freak hiding inside misery. And my spine so weak, crying my memory. So deep, I reciting the sheet.
Saved your life.
I did.
Cabby's on stairs. Yeah, you saved that bitch.
I was waiting to see if she would get her, so I was like, I don't want to take a kill.